Now we didn't come here to erase cats and do things like that. We came here to learn how to blend. So for blending, we're going to use less than 100% because we just want the edges to fade away. We don't want to completely erase them. So I'm going to bring that down to 50% with the black brush. And I'm just going to go around, well, let me just change this here because I don't want a really hard brush around the edge when I'm feathering. I just want it to kind of fade in with a soft finish to it. So I'm going to get a nice big brush. Save me some time. Get a little bit bigger. There we go. And I'm just going to touch around the edge of the photo with the black. Okay. And you'll see that that's kind of fading that away. Just gently fading it away all around. Now, I don't need anything out here, so I'm just going to get rid of that with a couple of passes. The effects are cumulative, so if I'm not at 100% opacity, as I go over it again, I get closer and closer to 100. So I'm just going to feather around the outside. They just fade that away a little bit. I'm going to switch to 100%. Just to get rid of this really rough, sharp, this sharp edge around the outside where the photo edge was. Just help me get that done a little bit faster. Just gonna pop that out with 100%. Okay, so you can see it's kind of taking shape now. I'm gonna go back to my 50%, approximately. Doesn't have to be exactly, and just feather a little bit more around the outside there. And that's looking pretty good. That's feathering pretty well out there. It's starting to fade away, as you can see. Okay, I'm not too worried about over the bird. Now you will notice that when I work over the bird, I'm not affecting the bird at all. I could click anywhere else in the photo and nothing happens. It appears over here, but there's no effect on our actual photo. And that's because it only affects the layer that it's next to here. We're only affecting over the cat. And let me just turn that off for a second. I'm going to disable that layer mask just to show you the original cat photo is still here. Nothing has happened to that at all. We could take it out, move it, copy it to another layer, whatever we want to do. The layer mask hasn't changed that at all. I'm going to enable that layer mask again. See, when it's enabled, it's doing its job, its work over the top of there. Now I've got the edges pretty nicely done there, and I could continue on with various opacities, getting lighter and lighter over the cat until he just kind of fades away. But I really like shortcuts, and what I found is I could come back over here and just make a more global change to the cat. Now, one of the things when you're working on the layer mask is you have an active layer here, but now you have two possibilities within that active layer, and you need to be aware of what you're working on. If you're working with the black and white layer mask, you want to be over here. Make sure that that is clicked and highlighted, and if you're working on the cat itself, you want to make sure that that's clicked. I can see it switching back and forth there. So right now I want to be on the cat because I want to make a more global change rather than play around with the brush and opacities over here. I found that a shortcut you could take is just come over here and change it from a normal to a soft light, and you see the cat just magically popped away into the background. That kind of faded off into the mist, but you can still see, the complete outline of the cat there up around his ears, and his face is a little bit more prominent, a little bit actually too prominent for what I was looking for. So what I did then was I came back over here and I lowered the opacity on the cat to around 70%, I think it was. Maybe it was 75, somewhere around that area, to kind of bring him a little bit more faded into the background, not be so prominent. So between the layer mask to feather out the edges and help him blend in very nicely, and the soft light, which kind of just sped up the whole process and dumped him into the background, faded him into the mist. It's a pretty quick and easy way to blend one photo into another. But in particular, using the layer mask instead of an eraser is a much better way to go. The eraser is a destructive tool. You're working on your original photo, as opposed to a layer mask, which is something we can turn on and off without ever affecting our actual image that we were using. So that's it. That's how a layer mask works. Remember, you want to use opposites. If you have a white layer mask, use black to hide and white to bring it back. Vary your opacities and your brush sizes and edges, and you can do a real nice job of blending from one photo to the next. I hope that was helpful for everyone. This is Robert Schwartztrauber again with PhotoshopTipCards.com, and this happens to be one of the tips that are included in the deck of 52 cards, which can save you a lot of time and frustration when you're working with Photoshop. Pop by the website, PhotoshopTipCards.com. Take a look. It's a pack of 52 cards loaded with tips, tricks, and time-saving techniques that you can use with Photoshop. Make it more enjoyable for you and those looking at your photos. Hope this was helpful. Bye-bye.